All right. Hello, everybody. Welcome back. This is my first stream of 2024, and I decided that I wanted to make some improvements. So I got a whole bunch of different stuff I've kind of done to try and improve the stream, little things I've added, and one of the bigger things is that face reveal. I got a webcam. Some of y'all care, other ones won't. But hello, I'm Magnetonics. It's nice to meet you all. So I'll have this on for pretty much all my streams now, and I hope you like it. I've one of the other major things I've done is I've changed kind of the stream layout. If I look over here, this is the second monitor I've got. It's just my OBS stream, but basically I've got a couple different layouts as well. There's so much stuff to think, and I didn't put an order to it. But basically, I have this one, which is just going to kind of be my generic Temtem stream. But I also have this one right here, which is a little more minimalistic. But, you know, to get it to actually fit on the screen, I gotta change the aspect ratio. Nope, that's not the one. I had it earlier. Now I look unprofessional. Right when I try and improve something. There we go. Yeah, so this is another option. I don't know why the chat's over here. It's supposed to be right here. Um, but you guys can let me know which one you guys are more of a fan of. I'll probably kind of try out a couple different ones as I go throughout streaming. I'll just switch it up. That way you guys can tell a little bit better what I can just kind of get some information out of you guys, like what do you prefer better. So just when I cover, it covers a little bit more taller wise, you know, not too particular. But yeah, so today it's mostly just going to be covering some information, kind of like some future plans I have as far as streaming goes. Finishing up the roller radar I was working on last stream. And it's just gonna be really relaxing. I'm not gonna do any PvP today. I might do a little bit of team building though. I still want to work on that Cycrox roller team some more. I'm probably gonna rework the thing from the ground up because while it was kind of fun, the speed tiering on it wasn't quite what I wanted. I was looking for more of a like roller's a slow temp, and so is Cycrox. And so it was kind of weird that I put something like a water chromium on there. It didn't work very well. Like Cycrox and water chromium have their own have their own combos, which are pretty strong together. But it felt like it had a different game plan than I originally wanted. So I'll probably work on that a little bit. Maybe I'll brainstorm just while I'm doing the radar. One of the other things is we got some new emotes for those of you who see on Twitch. I think the props to Kip for these. Kip designed the Pookie Cook emote and then just clipped the other ones from the Pookie animations in game. I thought they were fun, cute, so I definitely put them in. So you guys will have a couple more emote options. Another thing is this is going to be a lot closer to my normal streaming time now. The time I started streaming this. For me, it's a little bit after 8. This I guess it's probably on the later end of when I'd stream. So it'll probably be around 7 o'clock CST that I stream most days. I still forgot to swap. I mean to have these two in front. So I apologize to most of the EU viewers. I can't imagine many of you will be able to watch at that time, but I am working a full-time job now, so I'm doing what I can. I still want to put out content for you guys, and this is probably the best I can do. On weekends, I'll still try and get an earlier stream going. but no guarantees there. S. Billy, hello, welcome. Webcam indeed. Figured it was about time I got one. Plus, they like the payouts for Worlds happened. I only won like $100, but why not use it to pick up a webcam, improve the stream a little bit. Looks a little bit more professional. Alright, switching these two around. $100, $100 I didn't have before? Absolutely. Colonel Soap, hello, welcome. I did see the follow as well. Thank you for that earlier. Appreciate it. I doubt anyone from Dragon Quest Monsters is going to stop by for this video, but just in case anyone who's been enjoying those videos does, I'm probably going to only stream it once a week. It's very time consuming to create new teams for it. I got one ready. I wanted to put out this video first though, so I might do that stream tomorrow if I'm feeling up to it. But yeah, it'll probably be once a week for those streams, so. And then the rest will be like Temtem. And eventually I'll probably cycle in some more variety content. But for now it's just going to be Temtem and then once a week Dragon Quest. Competing this weekend in the tourney? I'm not sure yet. If I'm going to be playing Temtem, my top priority is probably going to be trying to push to Legend. Time is ticking. It's not going super fast, but like we got like 3.5 weeks left until the season's over, and I haven't got my Legend rewards yet. Not that they're going to be super great, but you know, I'd like to kind of be like, yeah, I got Legend in every single season. No, not the store, the Tamer Pass. Yeah, basically 3.5 weeks. Plus, I mean, the tournament is basically just ladder. I'm glad that East is hosting some tournaments for anyone to join in, just to have a little bit more of a competitive setting. But it's not like anyone is gonna really try in it. Hello, Noah, how's it going? Oh, you were playing Roblox earlier. What's on Roblox that you're doing? Still find some time to join you for TFT though. Retail Tycoon 2. I mean, I've seen some pretty cool modded stuff in Roblox, or maybe not modded. I'm not familiar with Roblox. I was more of a Minecraft kid myself. But I've seen a lot of crazy stuff that people have made in Roblox. So I don't doubt that there's a good game. Let's see what else has been going on. I mean, I've still been streaming pretty often. I'd still like to get like upwards of 4 or 5 streams out a week. I can't put out an exact schedule for like what days or anything, because a lot of my friends have really inconsistent schedules. And it's like if one of them gets online, I'd probably join them for something or other. Ruin the modding is cheating scene when the top cheating company was hired by Roblox to stop cheating. What? Why would... Man, that's just like removing a lot of fun from the game. But I guess cheating makes some amount of sense. If you're trying to have a serious game and then there's just a whole bunch of cheaters around, that's tough. How's the new job treating me? It's the same. It's just I worked at an internship this summer, and then they offered me a job afterwards once I got my degree. So I got that, and I mean it's basically the same job, but I enjoy it. Culture's like a perfect fit for me. The work's fun enough, as fun as accounting can get, and the people are super nice. So it's like relatively flexible too. About as much as I could ask for, especially in a starting job. There's quite a few people who go into business out there, and I know a lot of my friends, they going into like finance and marketing, that they're kind of having a tough time finding jobs because most places want 2 years of experience, and like coming out of college, you're not gonna have those 2 years of experience. Even if you have an internship or two, if the company doesn't hire you afterwards, you kind of go like in an interview, they're like, well, why didn't you work for them? What's going on? And you can kind of play it off, but you know, people kind of hold grudges and first impressions matter and sort of stuff. Just go overseas, yeah, yeah. You keep learning Mandarin. That's a skill that I will not possess ever, probably. Learning languages ain't something I'm good at. But you're right. I'm sure there's plenty of jobs throughout the world, and now that we're even connected through like, the internet, you could probably just get a job somewhere somehow while sitting in the comfort of your home. Like, isn't most of Crema actually like fully online? I thought they were. That's part of why their communication system is so bad. But they actually, I gotta respect them though. There was a big bug with the event where everyone's progress reset and they couldn't do anything about it. But then it turns out that they made the highest tier thing cost 50, and so any mission you complete, you get 50. So as long as you complete one mission, you can complete the entire event, which is kind of nice. I don't particularly care for any of these things. I don't think I'm like the backpack's kind of cute, but the Pookie backpack, like come on, why would you ever wear anything else? But maybe if I complete, I think it's like if I defeat 10 times in ranked battles by the end of the week, I'll get it anyways. So I'll probably just pick it up because I have it. I still think it would be really cool if we could trade some of these event cosmetics. I feel like that's kind of where Temtem misses out on like being an MMO. Like it claims to be an MMO, and yet we have all these exclusive cosmetics that are like, nope, can't trade that. Nope, I can't trade that. There's even like dyes that are exclusive. I know that there's like a lot of them in the store, like the paid store, and I kind of understand those cosmetics and stuff not being tradable, and yet it would be cool for somebody to be able to save up enough in-game currency to be able to purchase a paid item. Like imagine if I bought a Tataru backpack for feathers because I have an excess of feathers or something, and it was in my feather slap. It was just like, I like Tataru, but I have a Pookie backpack. Here, let me put this up on the auction house for like 4 million. Well, if somebody who plays PvE doesn't care about like perfect Lumas or something, and what they really want is that cosmetic, well, they can at least work towards it. It gives people a goal and something else to spend pensions on. Because right now it's either like you either like Temtem or you actually go for the only cosmetics worth anything that you can buy, which is the backer cosmetics. The Discord hat, the Tamer cap, and the Taco hat. I mean, I guess there's sort of like the wish you well things, but can you even trade those? I heard you can't at some point. I stopped. I stopped spending the wish you well coins because you could just make money by selling the things by themselves. Mount system's huge. World of Warcraft should be the same here. Yeah, something like that. I don't know. I could understand mounts being excluded from that, but they should at least have clothes. Like if somebody wants to go and buy the Bane mask and then sell it on the market for 10 or 100,000 or 1,000 times its like Nova value in Pansons, 800,000, maybe 8 million. I don't. You can't even throw a number out there because you don't know. They should have something. Your Discord hat. Yeah, I mean, there's not a whole lot of people with Discord's hats like in the comp scene anymore. There's Arctech and then there's you that I can think of off the top of my head. Because I sold mine when there was the Pookie hat available. So, priorities. Yeah, these rollers are tough. I might need to swap the Wally out for something else. See if I can still one-shot it by the end of this radar. I don't know if I have another mental, or at least another mental Luma that can take him out in one hit. Wish you could have a Luma mount still. Yeah, that mechanic would be cool, and I don't think that that Krem was completely thrown it out the window. I think it's just a recolor, but it's probably harder than that. You gotta get the animations done and everything. Another thing I want to do sometime before the end of the stream is show off the final product of my patch notes. I'm hoping to kind of run through the rest of this radar and then go through the patch notes and then I'll probably call it there. Because I made like 2 episodes, or did 2 full streams about designing the patch notes, and then I finished the things and then I didn't show them off. It's not like I'm hiding it or anything. It's just like I finished it off stream because who cares about like Digicoish and Crystal Chromion. So it's just, and plus I just made a bunch of like really minor changes, but I still feel like I should have a compiled list just in case anyone wants to see it. It'd be good content anyways. It's Northwestern. You applied to work there a couple times. Really? Oh, that's awesome. I think. Yeah, I haven't tried to work there. I know for a lot of the simpler positions they hire students whenever they can. If you were like going for a professor role, they're pretty strict on beliefs and such. I'm sure. And if you were applying to work in the cafeteria, they probably would have taken you instantly. So I'm guessing you didn't. Cafeteria food cannot recommend. I mean, it's kind of funny. Like, if you want to teach college kids to make their own meals, you just have really bad food in the cafeteria. Because then nobody will want to eat it, and they'll be like, all right, well, I got 2 options. I either spend a whole bunch of additional money on top of my tuition to go out to eat all the time, or I guess you probably do that anyways, and you have to make your own meals, but or you just make stuff in your room. So I haven't learned how to like cook anything, but I did learn how to make a few meals that taste really good, just so I can satisfy my hunger. And maybe make something nicer if I ever have to make a meal for somebody. I was posting for assistant strength and conditioning coach like 2 years ago. Gotcha. It's a pretty popular field. I know a lot of people going for that. I know that the school also has like a big preference towards alumni, so I wonder if that's just what happened. Which like it kind of makes sense. Like if you go to the college and you go back to work for the college, it looks really good for both the school and kind of even the person who got the job. So. Alright, we'll mix things up a little bit. We'll look at a little bit of team building here. Alright, so Grunder did nothing. Raiken really didn't fit either. Chromion was too fast. Broccolum fits about the pace of the team, and even kind of like the game plan. So I think we're going to keep Broccolum in this team for now. And by removing the Water Chromion, it brings us down to three digi weaknesses. Disposable income, love HelloFresh, tell you a lot about cooking and have lots of recipes because of it. I've seen a lot of ads for HelloFresh and just like different YouTube videos and such. It definitely looks good. A problem with buying online things for me is I've got a lot of food allergies. So when you take out all the options that they have, just because it's like you're allergic to this, that, and the other thing, well then it's just there's not as much left. Except the options that nobody really seems to want. Yeah, that's a good recommendation. A 2-Vine on the team. I'm not sure. I'm also predicting 2-Vine to get a nerf in the next patch. It should. I don't know if it will. It's a lot of like 2-Vine So for a very long time, 2-Vine did not have Turbine, and then they gave it Turbine. So its only weakness, or its biggest weakness in not having Prio, was solved. But then even the patch afterwards, just because nobody was experimenting with it and there was other stronger stuff, they decided we're gonna give it a special defense buff. So the things all kind of added up, and 2-Vine is now like super strong. It's not like it's not like Mashuk or Gazum is strong, but it's just way too consistent. Just like most other wins, like Tolkien and Turok. It's just if you're looking for a crystal to put on your team, you're probably going to look at 2-Vine first, because you get to knock out one of his biggest weaknesses, being Earth, and gain coverage, so you hardly get walled by anything. So, I mean, I just think 2-Vine should get nerfed. Just you know, like probably some stat reverts, if anything. It already has like a super tiny move pool, a couple tools that I don't think it should lose any of. Like I literally got Peck on this one right now. It's got no moves. I wasn't experienced enough. Probably wasn't even looked at. Do like where you're at. You just wish they could pay better. I think like that. Yeah, inflation is tough. Because the business has got to try and save money where they can, and people want more to spend. From the area, she applied to a lot of positions back around Chicago and in Illinois. I'm glad to hear you got one at least. Crazy how we went from like that long drought of just like the long period of time where people didn't even want to work. It's just like everywhere was hiring, and now as soon as I'm looking for a job, it's just like, well, I'm glad you got an internship, because if you didn't, it might have been a little tough. But maybe some areas are different, and this is only like U.S. talk too. Okay. The other thing with keeping 2-Vine on the team is it gives me another melee weakness. It's kind of I can cover it with 2 digis, and then I have a swap in as well. So my melee is actually covered pretty well, but I can't add like a mental very easily. I can't add another digi either, so I'm probably just stuck with this. And it's like offensively, Obi hardly counts for anything. But it was really nice. Like the one time when Roller did pop off, I think it was against T Honey. The Obi really enabled it. Put a lot of pressure on. So I basically want a slower team that can potentially be enabled by Obi, or even like a second Obi type Tem. Not that there's anything that really fits its niche. Valiar is probably the closest, but Valiar is just kind of tough to justify on any team. didn't go the route you did, you would have had to go Georgia or 2 or 3 more internships before an entry-level position. Yeah. Yeah, that's... Yeah, and it's just like, the career counselor's always trying to do as much as they can for you, but in the end, a lot of it's like out of your hands and out of their hands. And sometimes you just gotta take a job that maybe doesn't pay as well or not exactly the niche you're looking for, and just until you get experience too. Nid gaming, photologist nid. That would give me another tem that kind of gets walled by Tolkien, but it might be kind of fun to try photologist. I didn't give it all that much of a try after it got buffed again, but oh, that gives me triple fire weakness. I should probably look at like a water type. I was initially looking at Piranha, just because it can H-slap for 2-Vine, but that's about all it does. There's not a whole lot of slow, bulky waters that you can slot onto a team. Like Babua, I've got some good toxic counters, being Cycrox and 2-Vine, so I could try Babua, but being weak to a status effect, like Diffuse, canceling out your water, kind of hurts. Calibus doesn't do damage. And it's meant to be more of an aggressive team. Something that you want to take pressure off of the Rolder onto the other Tem so that Tardy Rush can proc. And Calibus is probably... Calibus and Guldur together are like the biggest examples of sit there and do nothing. I guess Cernif's another. All the jokes about Cernif resting to turn turn 30, because that's what it used to be able to do. Because it just stacks damage and was settling until it one-shots something. Maybe clicks Revitalize or Gaia, but the thing really just sits there and does nothing. Yes, I mean, like, I'd love to consider some Koish variants, but even they're hardly water types, and you can't use Iridescence right now. Mastion I just used on a team, and without any synergies, just kind of hurts. I thought about Nagais, like you could have Digi-Threat on the Cycrox to get Prio and even Synergy. And then you could slot Stoneball on the Rolder. I'd have to drop Earthbreaker, which is kind of sad. But it would give a lot more early pressure to Rolder and Naga board. Also synergizes with Raiken if I kept it around. But there were just too many times where in the matches in my last stream, wasn't like any situation that I wanted to pick Rolder in. Or, sorry, Raiken in. Because you got a monotype that it gets walled by 3 types. I remember one of the games, I was in an endgame against an Osakai at like 80%. And I click Held Anger at +4, and it does like barely over half. It's tough. Even a neutral damage Quetzal on something when you're +4 probably only takes it down to like 20-30%. Which is still really good damage, but it's like you're +4. You spent time on your team to try and get kills specifically on your Raiken. Yeah, at this rate we're not gonna get a Luma Roller. Come on. Grey Might fits. Autonomy gives free damage and focus to break. Yeah, you're probably right. Gary is most likely the play. I'll have to add another Toxic back in. Because otherwise I get really weak to nature. Maybe I can add a fire instead. But that's true, it is another bulky water type. And even better, I have a Luma. Okay. So like, Broglim's a really good nature pivot, but Tuvine doesn't have Nox Bomb anymore, so I'll definitely need at least one more counter. We'll try this out. Yeah, ta-da. I mean, my screen's still kind of covering stuff, but overall it's pretty good. You can kind of see everything. And the transition's relatively smooth. So it's like we tried Garunder and that didn't work. Nudrasil we could do, but we'd suffer a fire weakness. Tortonite we'd suffer a melee weakness. Adoro's a digi weakness. Acronox is another melee weakness. Honestly, like Hazorat's probably the best fitting one on the team. But then the only water I have is Gario, and I'm probably running next to no speed on the Hazorat. So am I really accomplishing anything? I, getting a You have to run some amount of speed on the Hazorat. You kind of have to take gambles on like how much speed does the opposing Tolkien have? Does the opposing Tuvine have? Because if I have it at like 200, which is basically zero speed invest, I'm going to get outsped by all of the Tuvines that are Calking Tau Speed Platymus Toxin Shower, which was a common breakpoint for a long time. Go 221, you get the Tuvines that are trying to outspeed a few more things, or after a turbo, outspeed like everything. Tolkien's usually can speed creep up to like past 232, which is just like, where are your defensive TVs? Where are your offensive TVs? You're just nuts. I don't know how people spread Tolkien and have success. You have to spread your TVs like a maniac to get value. It feels like, and yet other people always find the perfect spread. Wish I could just have like two Cycroxes in this case. Like, I could have Toxic Chromion. But that Chromion just isn't defensive. It's just not. Fought a max speed Gario the other day. Was it Lunar Panther? I know he loves his max speed Gario. It's I kind of wanted to try it for a little bit. Now with the ice cubes change, you can cold geyser into an ice cubes to freeze something on the second turn. But the thing is, max speed Gario is like 224. You get outsped by most Volfies, which is not worth it. There's not a lot of people running Volfie anymore, but as most play users are going to run at least 232 speed, and you cannot reach that speed without running Fat Burner and making you do 0 damage. Didn't think they were crazy enough to stay on your failures and natures. Well, if you get the one freeze off with Cold Geyser, then you can buy yourself a second turn and maybe pivot into something good. You could almost be like a counter to Mashuk, because you give it the freeze the first turn, swap in Ice Cubes the second turn, prevent it from getting Tireless and Turbo off instantly, and then you're pivoting into your Wind type. It's kind of a fun thought, but probably not super viable. But it definitely catches people off guard. That's for sure. I mean, the game recommends Garunder, and yeah, Garunder theoretically should fit with this team really well, and it doesn't. I don't know why. I just didn't have any success with it. It felt so bad. But maybe it wasn't the problem. Maybe it was everything else. Dropping the Raiken, I can drop my Earth weaknesses to only the 2. We're staying at a much slower pace, which is good. Crystal weakness is also 2. Like honestly, what would complete this team would be like a fire type now. But I need a fire type that's not weak to earth, which leaves Tolkien, and I don't want to play Tolkien. I mean, Bastion would also work, so would Tyrannac, so maybe Tyrannac is the play. Koish? Yeah, Koish works. Bastion technically would as well. And even though like Bastion kind of fits the speed tiering of this team, I feel like it wouldn't have a whole lot of success, but maybe it would. You know, maybe we just give Bastion a second try. Last time we tried it just got banned all the time, but hey, that's free value. Have to be frightening Tyra to still get Tardy Rush. That's assuming I have Rolder and Tyrannac on the board at the same time. Let me get Gario for 1 synergy. Oh. This is my usual Bastion set, I think. Let me see. I don't normally go like a 3-turn rotation. I usually go like double Cold Geyser. Just 73 stamina on Gario. Which is like really reasonable invest. On this team I'm gonna max the attack because I would still die to a plague if I got hit by one. And I'm not gonna invest any speed. The reason you invest speed on Gario, there's like 2 reasons. You one can outspeed the Tyrannax to speed creep your Gario, and 2, you can outspeed Frond Whips from faster Chimerians. But I'm gonna try and ignore both of those things. Although Chimerian is pretty bad for my team. I got the Bastion, but that's about it. We're putting War Drum on the Garunder this time because that would have won me like 2 games last time. Technically, still invest to live a plague. I could, but that only works for Volphy Plague and if it's max special attack Volphy. Otherwise, it doesn't matter. I think it's just yeah, it's just 61 stam for Garunder. It just random like yesterday. 2 days ago, I guess. I took yesterday off to kind of work on all this stream update stuff. We'll put a little bit more attack and not invest the piddle in speed this time. Maybe that'll have some sort of an advantage. I know that 73 stamina here. Double water lava wave into meteorite. Probably have the prio breakpoint for him. It's like 155, 156. I'll max attack here as well. We're getting through this radar faster than I thought, so maybe I will play a match just to break it up a little bit. And treat the 6 of you that actually stuck around here, even though I'm doing just a chill stream. Most of the time I stream something other than PvP and people are like, ew, I don't want to watch that. It's funny to watch it's just very interesting as a content creator to watch what gets more views and what doesn't. Because the first time I posted the custom patch notes competition or whatever. It got, quite a few views, a couple hundred. And then I post a second episode of it, and it's like less than 100. So, just kind of like, well, do I even post the third? And that's kind of like, well, I'm like, I'll just add it on to the end of this video. Senpai, hello, welcome. We got 250 yet? Maybe at 250 I'll queue up for a match. It's not usually a great time for queuing anyways. It's just late for most folks. Kinda sad, I'm just kind of like reduced to streaming at this time almost exclusively every day. How have I been? I've been pretty good. I'm tired. Gotta wake up at 5:30 in the morning for work every day now, but I'll get used to it pretty quick. Won't be too bad. How about you? Have you been? Oh yeah, I'm gonna have to swap out the Lawali. I think I can still get a little bit more value out of Tental though. You work at 4 a.m. Oh man, your build, like, you start work at 4? That's just like the graveyard shift. I've got a couple friends that work that too. It's not something I can do. Not built for that. No, he's not carrying me, Senpai. That's the leader of the Lair Hunters, right? We'll get back in there and then I'll queue up. Do like one match, maybe two. Just try out the team a little bit. Used to wake up at 4 a.m. when you worked football. Yeah, I guess you gotta be there as like a coach for people as they play. Because they always gotta get to practice before school starts. Is it Tax Sambi? No, it's... Why did I build all my Sambis like this? I got this one, and I think this is the copied build of that. Yeah, basically. Mistakes were made. Like, what is this Pocus build? When did I do this? That's better, but I don't think that's enough special attack. It probably is, though. I don't have anything else that I can hit it that hard turn 1. Sukama probably does, actually. Hydrologist value. Trait might proc, though, and be annoying. We'll see. Just fought him on ladder, so I was curious if he was an ult or something. Oh, gotcha. I didn't know he actually played ladder. Maybe just for awards or something. Wake up at 3 to get there at 4. Only good part, you leave work at 12. Got the rest of the day. I don't know, I mean, if I was waking up at 3 every day, I'd have to... I'd have to go to bed at like 7 at night. Summer football? Oh, yikes. Who would sign up for that? I wouldn't, but I guess if you're getting paid, do what you gotta do. Beef up Pocus. Pocus getting beef up was one of the weirdest things with the name change of the move. Like, having purgation made enough sense. But there's nothing beefy about Pocus. D2, D2. Hey, as long as they're getting there without abusing Koish, I can respect it. Go to bed at 11 to 12. What? That's like a maximum of like 4 hours of sleep. That cannot be healthy. How many energy drinks do you down in a day? And a drought and a heat waves. Oh, do the conditioning early in the morning for safety reasons. That makes sense. That's drought and a heat wave. Wow. I mean, yeah, that's like special circumstances. You gotta do what you gotta do. Safety is definitely a top priority. Come on, albino. Albino rhino. Where are you at? Alright, we found a cube before we found a rhino, so do what we gotta do. Like, imagine if we had the Luma roller on this team, and then, well, Garunder at some point, but Garunder's not really a priority Luma for me. No, not the Cycrocs. How could you, Dylan? You haven't even said hi in the stream yet. He'll probably stop by after. And maybe not. It's actually kind of fun. He's using Bastion to turbo team. Looks like he's swapped off of his Munko and Wake Up Slap Broccolum shenanigans. I have options against a lot of stuff. But Kinu is one thing I have very limited options against. It was either Kinu or Bastion there, I think. The Mashuk was also a little tempting. Especially since Cycrox is banned. I'm pretty sure I'm first picking Obi anyways. Don't like e-drinks, just some coffee and soda. Okay, that's probably healthier. Maybe not, but can't imagine having all the caffeine packed into energy drinks multiple times a day like some people do is healthy. Interesting grandpa pick there. Took a temperature gun to the turf one day at noon. It was 120 degrees. Uh. Oh my goodness. That's probably just about as bad as like the beaches, sand on some certain beaches. See, Turok or Bastion, probably the two options here. Roller's okay with dealing with both. Yeah, this is just fine, I think. Oh, we have so many feathers. I actually hardly have any feathers. Like, this is the only roller radar I can even afford right now. We'll see if I can afford another one later on, once I'm finished with this one. Bastion was the other band I was looking at for sure. Broccolum band. That's probably good. Kind of walls like 3 of his Tems. Although I left his Mashuk available, which walls Broccolum back, so. Nap a lot. Naps are great. Don't play ladder as much. A few comp players went over 10k already. I think it's just that I spend them as soon as I get them. I've soul binded a lot of Lumas. Just bought a Luma with mediocre stats on the auction house. Like, bought enough hot fixes to get it to max and then soul bind it, and that takes quite a few feathers. Pig was one of those. Because I did not want to do a pig raid or a fainted curse. Nope, not happening. Try to keep around 2,000 to 3,000 minimum so you can afford anything cool in the feather slots, which is how you got a lot of your seals. Yeah, I mean, I've gotten a lot of cool seals too. There was the one like clam one. Definitely had to pick that one up. Gravel bag truck, that's right. Also picked up a few miscellaneous ones, like the piezoelectric, the sound waves, the ninja stars. There's a lot of seals I bought, actually. No, not the roller, not the roller. Why? Wait, why do you stare into a soil steam? That's kind of goofy. That does less than half. That also does less than half. He's got to attack with Grandpa. I guess didn't have to. I always bush here. Earthbreaker's a lot riskier. My goal is going to be to rockfall here, hopefully take out the Turok, and then swap in the Garender next turn to get the Earthbreaker on the Grandpa. Once Tardy rushes up. Not that I'm going to outspeed, unless it's like even a 0-speed Grandpa, I think I'd get outsped. Ah, Volfi. That was a good play. I think this is okay, though. How slow is that, Grandpa? Oh, I didn't even pay attention to that. You're right. That really is like a 0-speed Grandpa. Huh. What's Kaleidoscope Volfi? What items is Grandpa holding, too? It's gonna be Lightning Rod? I hope not. It could be, though. It's only got one weakness. Never see it coming. He pops into my streams pretty often. Oh, it's a physical Grandpa. Is this gonna be a Wardrobe? It's hand-fanned physical Grandpa. I love it. Oh, that's so bad. It's so useless. Well, I got the Lifeful Sap because I clicked Cooperation to not OX. I'm just gonna rest on Rolder. Whatever comes in gets a speed drop. Shook, speed drop? Yes, please. Yeah. Even through the bush special defense, I could not survive. Just a little sad. It would have been nice to get a plasma beam off on the Mashuk as well. But we take what we can get. Almost didn't KO. Yeah, it was really close. It's definitely more of a supportive Volfi, but I figured that since it has Kaleidoscope. He hasn't procced my Reactive Vial yet, though, so I'm not in, like, immediate danger. I do OX here, though, which sucks. I did a lot of damage. That's a squishier Volfi than I thought. I guess I did outspeed Rolder, so it's got at least 200 speed invest. Yeah, I did live. Alright, I'm actually gonna go for Turbine on the Mashuk. I'm gonna go for Feather Gatling on the Mashuk. Volfi was a relatively obvious swap. And this way I got to keep my priority, which was important. If Roller gets this Goring off, that would be super nice. It's gonna be kind of close, depends on how much speed invest he has in the Volar end. Love the people just running Peck on 2-Vine. What other options does it have? Tell me. Like, Mirror Shell and Diamond Fort just ain't good enough. Alright, that was squishy. I guess that's aerobic Volar end. Heli kick here. The reason I used... I guess I did use Turbine. I thought I used CPG there. The Mashuk did have some speed invest. I thought it didn't. Yeah, this one ain't looking too hot. Even though Mastion just hit the board. It might be down to, like, does he swap the Volerin next turn? Ah, he went for the Mastion. I was hoping he'd go for the 2-Vine. That HKS did a lot of damage. Oh, Fire Chip, War Drum, Max Attack. I did what I could. That's a bulky Grandpa. Try and save some health on Mastion. Hope that the Volarend OX is this turn, which probably won't. It's very wishful thinking. All of his Tems are so low, but they have speed advantage. That Lifeful Sap on from the Volfi is actually gonna flip the game. Because if he didn't have Grandpa, he would have had to have either Volfi or Turok in here, either of which would die to Garunder before quite taking it out. And then Mastion would also have a lot more pressure, so. Stuff like that's why people still run Pyromaniac, even though they don't really have great water moves with it. Right, yeah. Ooh, big OX damage. Yeah, Lava Wave isn't very strong as a move. It's just not. But not having water moves, and like Water Blade is so strong. Not having that is tough. Alright, I need both of my Tems to survive the turn. Because I need both to survive. I'm fine to use Nox Bomb on Turok and Lava Wave in the Volarend slot. Because he was swapping Volfi somewhere. And I was assuming he would swap Volfi into the 4x Electric Resist. to eat the Gorender shot. I lived. Yes, I think we got it. People just run Water Blade anyway, even though it's about as strong as Peck. I mean, Mastion special attack, even unboosted, isn't that bad. It's like 61 or something. Playing safe hurt them greatly. I mean, two things were dying there always. It's just he had to go for the Soil Steam on Mastion and hope it killed. I think. Lost the second they OX'd on Vola, yeah, basically. If they used, like, V-Gust onto Mastion, I would have been toast. I couldn't have done anything. And even, like, a special attack invested T-Plume may have been very close there, honestly. Good game. Change the win rate. I know, it would have been tough. A resist plus on one of the strongest special defense tanks in the game, being a render. But I think that was his only chance in that position. It also would have had to KO Mastion, but I think that would have been a lot easier. Mastion's special defense is not anything special. He used to have special defense on par with Piranha, and then they changed his type, turned it into more of a bruiser, and it's in a lot better spot now. I just realized something. Hold on. Oh, we'll do the fun screen instead of this one. Hold on, no, this one. Basically, I want to see. I just realized that I didn't check to make sure my. I didn't make sure that my audio properties were gonna split, even though. Yeah, we're good. We're good. I thought for a second my VODs might have gone Coonders and just been copyrighted as soon as they hit. But we should be good. Should be good. Lightcube, hello, welcome. Not normally live at this hour. This is going to be the time when I am normally live from now on. So that's what a full-time job does. Banked on Rockfall plus Sandstorm KOing, maybe? That would have been a possibility, but still really tough. Marco, hello, welcome. Full-time job plus streaming? I mean, I stream for fun. Like, if I'm just gonna play Temtem anyways. It's not like I'm trying to make it big as a streamer, but it would be fun to gain a bigger following. But I mean, if the most part when I stream, it's just like I'm playing this game. So like, why not turn on a camera and just talk over it? Because I think I'm relatively good at just talking about nothing, and you guys definitely help keep the conversation going. And when it's a game about like Temtem where I know so much about it, I can analyze the game forever. Revolts, hello, welcome. From Brazil, that's awesome. Quite a few people from Brazil actually stop on the stream. Good at talking about nothing as well, professional yapper. It's a good skill to have. Sometimes. You know, that last one was pretty fun. We'll go for the double win. I gotta make up for the failures I didn't get last week because I only got 9 out of the 10 wins for the mission. You got a lot of points. Oh, the channel points? That's one thing I forgot to mention. I am planning on adding some more fun things to do. with the channel points. It's not going to be anything crazy, but like just some ways you can disrupt the stream. Some things that pop up on stream. Maybe it'll be like a Pookie swimming across the stream, or like a piranha like making a big splash or something. Maybe I'll have something now that I got a camera that you guys can mess with me a little bit. We'll see what I come up with. There's another streamer that has a what looks to be a really fun program for it, so I'm gonna see if he'll let me know what it is. My worst enemy, a stall team. I should have rage instead of sharp rain on the Bastion. That's what I need. Wookie hides a random enemy Temtem on the battle log. uh, bring double toxic. Essentially, the idea here is that both of these Temps have scaling. Also, they resist the poison ticks, so stuff like Garunder. And the pressures him into picking Shween for sure to make sure that I can't doom him, even though I couldn't anyways, but it doesn't matter because I just can't deal enough damage. Yeah, it's just, I don't know. If I take out Nidrasil here, that freed up Bastion. Rip Bastion. Ah. I mean, if you don't have enough mental to deal with Yowler, it's just like you better have some form of control, and I don't. Not on this team. This team's just meant to be like a team full of bulky offense bruisers, basically, that all happen to have low stamina. Want to bet fluid barriers clicked on Shween? Yeah, I'm pretty sure it will be. I don't think this guy's holding anything back. I'm not sure why New Start's trying so hard, but maybe he just wants his daily wins or feathers. I could just give it to him, but I think I'll make him work for it. With any luck, this will be a... No, I was going to say, if I could finish off the Shween with just another harmful, that would be awesome. Because then I could have pretty much free gotten a Nox bomb or a beef up on the Grunder. Clinch, please do nothing. That's more than I wanted it to be. If he could very well swap in Kaurin here. He doesn't though. He'll just take the death on Shween. Also, we were. I thought Fluid Barrier was going to be on the Owler, not the Shween. It got the Court Shield though. Wait. Oh, thought I was gonna do enough damage. I forgot the Fluid Barrier. I'm like, I did over half. Oversight. Wanted to be more committed, both to Temtem and Pokemon, but time's been a problem. Got discouraged even with Temtem. Yeah, it's... I'm hoping we get a really fun patch. That's what I want. Still quaking their boots about the toxic slime. I think they realize by now that I do not have it. Mom's lunch, awesome. Just trying to kill Shmeen the whole time. That's fair, that's fair. It's not like Cycrox has a lot of moves to work with anyways, so it wouldn't be surprising for a normal one to have microwaves. I think I live, but I might die to the Oh, he just clicked clinch. Weird. I can save Cycrox for like a +2 microwaves later. I don't think anything outspeeds that, not even the Volarend. Is he gonna swap in the Volarend though? I guess it doesn't matter, I just click Soul Shout. I was thinking if I could trap the Cower in this turn, that it could potentially click like Psychosis and then finish it off with Inner Spirit, that would be really nice. I don't have any way to clear Doom, unfortunately. I could have swapped in Tuvine to absorb it with bait. Yeah, okay, I'm glad I just clicked the Soul Shout. It's not Strange Vests. That's a lot of damage. That is an insane amount of damage, actually. He so nicely gives me Camouflage so the Nox Bomb won't even go through. So maybe this is gonna work. We Rockfall just for enough chip damage to make sure Volarend goes down and also cover for Volgon's swap in. I think Broccolum's amazing, have seen a lot of friends use it. Doesn't seem to work for you. I love Broccolum too. It's just, honestly, I find it very versatile. Its offensive typing paired with an incredible defensive trait is an amazing combo. Winter's Call. I avoided on Broccolum. Rolder is okay resting for a turn. I was like, what did Yowler get hit by? Did it proc its own winter or its own nut bar? But no, I hit it with Rockfall, duh. Alright, we rest on Rolder. And I am all good to Plague on Yowler. Yowler clicks anything at OX's. That Plague did nothing. I'm +2, but it's also +2. Really? Man, these 101 stamina Yowlers are insane. Clinch gives way too much value for what it does. Oh, of course. Whatever, we just double rest. I guess he could break the evasion with Volgon and finish off Broccolum now. He'd OX to do that, but it would probably be good value for him. Broccolum's the biggest counter I have to Cowrin on his team. Yeah. He's also got Mom's Lunch. Maybe he's thinking about how to best utilize that. I'd be a little surprised to see him do anything other than just strangle my Rolder again. And then just rest on Yowler. Triple rest board, let's go. Alright, we Rockfall Inner Spirit. Even if he swaps out Karin, I think this is still good value. Maybe not. Maybe I really do need to save Broccolum. Too late now. If I could OX this Yowler right now, I'd probably just do that instead. Inner Spirit plus Earthbreaker into the Yowler might not even have been a bad idea. Missed a little bit, chat. Adoro against Broccolum, yeah, that's tough. That's really tough. Aggro, yeah. I find aggro more fun to play too, but it doesn't always pay out. Man, look at that. Savage Suplex, it really is like 101 stamina on the Yowler. Dylan, GG's to you as well. Steam linking? No, no worries. Ah. Alright, gotta really try and knock out this Yowler now. That did 20%, not great, but it's something. Physical Grandpa, it was unique. I hate Physical Grandpa. I just think it's bad. It's one of my least favorite Tems to get in layers. I needed to go after the Cowrin there. Toughen Hibernate, it doesn't need to toughen, it can Stonewall Hibernate. Thing had Winter's Call though. Yeah, see? There we go. Now it's +5 defense. Toughen would be funnier. It would be funnier. He's playing it really safe. Oh shoot. I didn't regen enough stamina. I think I can still take down the Cowrin, which frees up Garunder a little bit, but it's still like, it's a +5 Yowler. I'm sure he's got Scavenger on this thing too. He's just gonna try and kill the roller. And I can't prevent him from doing that. I mean, my only play is to swap in Garunder here, but I didn't want to take damage on Garunder. I needed a late game situation with Garunder and Yowler, and even then, it was never going to work out. So, and then just a Roar. He didn't even go for it. He went for Winter's Call. I didn't even think about that. That's a good play. But yeah, that's just... I needed to... I don't think I could have done anything that much. His entire game plan was just give Yowler a couple buffs and then just wipe. Just so stupid that it can do that. It's... You can't... Like, I would have loved to ban Yowler, but I couldn't deal with Koish. Bugged Koish would have been 10 times worse. I mean, it can't heal, and it doesn't have natural stamina regen. Hibernate's stupid move. I'm okay with stall, and for the most part. I think most stall Tems are relatively balanced. Yowler is not one of those. I've heard a suggestion that clinch be removed from Yowler, and that's kind of what I agreed with as well. If it wants to attack, it either has to use Fierce Claw, which does less damage, or it runs Toughen and only one attack move, but that one attack move is Savage Suplex, and you can only use it once every couple turns. Yeller has pretty clear weaknesses. I love to hear them. For me, what seem to be Yowler's weaknesses are ignore it and control it until it dies. Like literally, like you ignore the Yowler, target every other Tem on the team, and hope that it's not buffed up enough to wipe your team. Need something stronger than. We'll bring out the Pocus now. True damage. I mean, true damage gets like 0 value against stall. I get like, okay, I mean like poison does. I guess true damage. My brain instantly goes to like depress and dim mock when you put it that way, but yeah, toxic works against it. But even times I run toxic teams, it always seems to outscale me. And stamina drain, like I use plague on the thing, and it just clinches me, and it still does nothing. Good stand bar. I think I was like 101 stamina invest. Even its healing move gives it stamina back. It has a stall time with a single type weakness. It is awful. Is this beta burst in the first slot? It's really good against the Tems you're running, just not others. Well, I guess in metas where mentals aren't prevalent, like this one, its value goes whoop. Because you just ban the Mawala, all of a sudden you get to ban out their scaling, healing, and their best type, defensive type, and what do you do then? You'd better have control then, I guess. I guess Yowler just destroys bulky offense. Maybe that's what I'm getting at. I don't see how like any bulky offense team ever beats Yowler. Because usually you're sacking a little bit of damage for bulk, and so you can't break through something like Yowler unless you also have like multiple ways of offensive scaling. But even I had Zen Med and Beef Up, and I just like those get targeted down. They're scaling defensively as you're only trying to keep up offensively, but they're also chipping you down while you're not, and they just gain tempo. Like he literally sacrificed 3 of his Tems to get a Quartz Shield and a Purgation off on his Yowler. 3 full Tems did that. And then like he didn't care about losing them at all. Yeah, I'm gonna be done with the matches tonight. I wasn't even gonna play any, but figured I'd get a couple in. Won the first one, thought I'd try and go for the double win bonus. But I kind of just want to finish this radar. Maybe show off my as close to finalized patch notes as we're gonna have, probably, and then probably just head off. So I'm already gonna have to get to bed for work tomorrow. Gotta wake up in 8 hours. Oh, sorry if y'all came here for PvP today. I wasn't planning on doing a whole lot of it. I'm somebody who likes to get around like 7-8 hours of sleep. At least it's definitely what I'm used to. So until I adjust better to actually, it's actually funny because it's like the middle of winter. Like the sun comes up for a shorter period of time or whatever. Sun's out. So I get to work early enough that the sun is just rising, and by the time I leave work, it's already going back. So it's like I hardly even get to see the light of day, just because the days are so short. I thought it was really funny. I'm sure people even further north have it worse. Come on, give me my albino. I don't really have anything stronger than these two to knock out our older, I don't think either. Like, I could try a matter teleport user. I guess I have Vental. Spiritual Vental, that would probably do it. This takes a little bit more time for Spiritual to proc. I don't know which does more damage either, the Pocus or the Ukama. Marbles, that's a good point. Never think about marbles. I think about war drums sometimes when I have physical Tems. But marbles is a good point. It's a stupid item, but hey, we can use it for we can use it for this. There's a better chill song. Whatever. I feel like every time I try and switch the music up, it gives me more stuff that doesn't fit what's going on. Please don't have marbles equipped on something else. Good. I mean, Rolder got an Earthbreaker off in both matches today, so I think this team is better than the last one. Maybe not win rate wise. We'll have to see further. Maybe I just gotta figure out what can counter stall better. Just add like a composure user to my team so that every stall player feels forced to ban it. I'd love to put Valyar on more teams, but it's not quite there yet. Just give the thing Emanip and turn it into a special attacker and voila. There we go. Perfect. It's not perfect, but it's in a lot better spot than it is now. If you want to counter stall, you can tell me what does that well. I mean, I've heard Tolkien counter stall because a lot of what stall wants to do is, or the typings that are available for stall, they're really weak to fire and wind because toxics and like crystals natures. That's usually what stall comps are weak against or consist of. And then you also get the heater burn if you're running that to prevent instant KOs on stuff. Every once in a while, a stalled player will double in on something and kill it, like the Soil Steam and Schween's Horn Toxic Slam on my Obi yesterday. I keep saying yesterday, I mean last stream. The days, they're all mushing together. Every time I run a reset and like attempt for that to counter stall, it just doesn't do it. Doesn't do it. Like maybe I can put buffs off one thing, but if I don't get into a late game situation, it doesn't do anything. And I have to sacrifice so much tempo to get that too. And all it takes is one good swap on the reset turn, and then offensive pressure, and all of a sudden, reset value goes new. Maybe it's time I bring back the aggro Waspine, the max defense, max attack, auto destruction, crystal bite. That'd be really fun too. Honestly, I could slot that on this team. It's just I'd end up with another. Probably not this team. Maybe if I can get my legend wins, I'll bring that Waspian back because it was a lot of fun. And if I play around it just a little bit more, it might find further success. So I have no clue how auto destruction works. It's just self-destruct from Pokemon. Except kind of worse. Aggro Waspian sounds scary. It sounds scary. But then you see... Uh, it's got a 58 attack stat and 50 special attack stat. 50 in special attack is lower than Moment's for the record, and that's pretty bad. Let's see what its attack stat's worse than, just for fun. Attack. Alright. 58. So, this is Waspian. It has lower attack than Crystal. In Kaku. That's awful. 2i. Ori. I mean, some of these kind of make sense. But yeah, yikes. Crazy, not scary. Fair. I guess I'm so used to crazy being used as like a positive word. Didn't play Pokemon. I mean, self-destruct is just, it hits everything on the field, including your ally, and the Tem that uses the move all, like, dies in using it. The thing is, its damage isn't even that high. It's like 120 base power or something. I think that's lower than turbo attack. Waspian's only scary when it gets turboed. True, true. Back screen. Ah, thank you for the reminder. Still getting used to the whole scenes thing. And the double monitor for that matter. It's been like years since I've had double monitors. I needed an extra monitor for work. Because trying to work with multiple Excel sheets and PDFs and other documents open at the same time, all trying to like swap through the tabs is nah, that would just be terrible. This working 40 hours a week like that? No, thank you. Just buy a bigger desk, dig up another monitor from the depths of my closets, and call it a day. I'm not somebody that cares much about fancy stuff, just whatever works. Monitor from 2008, well, if it connects, cool. Oh, yeah, even through marbles, it's just the rollers are getting tankier. We only got like 7 encounters left though, so rip roller radar. We'll see. Maybe I'll get surprised. I think the latest in a radar I've ever gotten a Luma was like a 273 or something. It was like early 270s. When I think about items or trait like Focus Sash, there's very few Tems that would even consider that because one-shots just aren't. One-shot shots aren't really that prevalent. I don't think it would get very much value. You'd have to put it on a glass cannon. Like you could do something like that for Mudrid. I think Mudrid would appreciate a trait like that. I think Monka would appreciate that more than meditation. uh, Gario might consider running it over. Why would Gario run it? Maybe the max speed Gario would run it. Got an Umbra at 298 the other day. Oh, that's awesome. That must have been a good surprise. Like I feel like as you get to the final encounters of most radars, it's just like motivation's down. You're like, oh man, I'm not hitting anything, and then you see it, and it's like, what? I haven't, I haven't got one that late though. For me, it's just like, yup, as expected. There's nothing here. Uh, you're beating Anukama. Got 3 Genki and 1 radar. That's also another thing. I've never gotten two temps from the same radar. But my radars are usually pretty consistent. I seem to be about at odds for radars, so I can't complain too much. I've had pretty bad luck on stream, but then usually I'll like finish a radar off stream and then get a Luma. It's just like, why? I could turn on the camera for a little bit and just like clip me catching the Luma, but I don't know, there's, like nobody cares about that. It's just the initial reaction of finding the thing. I didn't see. Is this the last encounter, or do we have one more? Eggs, hello, welcome. Coming in towards the end of the stream. It's a lot short of a stream today. Just kind of wanted to have a relaxing stream. Kind of went through a couple things at the start. Just general updates. As always, you do have a bet. You're really unlucky that way. Although I will, as like a grand ending to the stream, I'm gonna show off my patch notes for the competition. So, just gonna see this last encounter of the Rolder albino. No, I'm disappointed, Rolder. Okay. Savannah Hunter? I don't know what that is, but I'll take a free 60 feathers. I guess I should have read it first. Well, I just complete a roller radar. I forgot that they added those. How many feathers do I even have now? It's enough for another. I'll probably start another next stream. Alright. Let me open up my patch notes. Alright. So I'm pretty much just gonna scroll through the thing. I talked about a lot of these changes on the stream before. I'll kind of try and touch on things that I didn't talk about, just real briefly. But yeah, so it's probably more for like anyone watching on recording to pause and go. The new move I decided to add, I decided to do a 3-hold toxic option, and I added it to Guldur, Nidrasil, Hazoret, and Toxic Quaish. So that was one of the bigger changes. Instead of making Psycholab 3 Prio, I figured actually Adoro might like Time Split. Just remove Hypnosis. It's already an egg move, and Time Split doesn't have a Tem for egg move right now, so that's okay. Be a good swap out. Let's see what else. I finally figured out what I wanted to do with Aquastone. Honestly, I just made it do a whole bunch more damage. So it's actually valuable to get this energy on it, and it's not useless without it. Anytime I clarify a Tem here, it's just that the pre-evolution gets the move. I forget if I added the Refreshing Breeze to Cernif on stream or not. These are the Chromion changes. Not a whole lot. I think most Chromions are actually doing alright right now. I did add Nimble to win though, because they gave most of the other Chromions at least a weak support option. but Wind didn't get it. Harmful Microwaves, I removed some Cycrocs. Figured it might be too much if I'm giving it the new Digi move I created. Um, Decided on Earthbound for Gallios, because I reworked Seismunch a little bit further. Here's the Hazoret changes, which are pretty big. Most of it was already on stream, but I decided to remove Wastewater, add Toxic Fang and my new Toxic move, but also give the thing Bully. So I'd be curious to see where Hazoret was at with this, but probably a net neutral in the end. Not having Wastewater hurts it pretty bad, I'd think. Calibus also kind of ended up with a net buff after I changed everything. I'd consider hitting it harder, but I don't know. It already is one of like the below average toxic types, it feels like, but toxic as a type in general is so strong. A lot of these quest changes is just like remove some of the excess prio and spread options and add back some of the stuff that didn't deserve to be removed. Also put H-Slap on neutral quest because it makes more sense than Goring and also has synergy. Might be kind of fun to run synergy neutral quest then. And by extension might buff something like Raiken. Lowaddle, I Lowaddle was tough. I didn't know what to do with it because it's such a huge pain on control teams, and it can be so useless everywhere else just because of its defensive type. I figured just dig it a little bit deeper into the control type, but blue screen needed to be nerfed, so I nerfed blue screen, added bamboozle as compensation, and then changed penance so that it works basically like sacrifice. Sort of meant to be a buff to Seppuku, but also meant to be a nerf to control teams, so that while Lowaddle's controlling for forever, it can't infinitely buff as well. Because so many times, like, Lowaddle's just runs 0 attack moves, and they just get a tem or two up to +8, and it's still standing. Like, I can hit the thing with a Crystal Plume, and it'll still be above half and get 2 penances off before I can touch it again. But maybe it would be too much. I thought Bamboozle would be good. The whole thing is like it's speed control. I didn't nerf slowdown. Mudrid didn't deserve all this. Mudrid wants compensation for losing Crystal Deluge synergy like that, but you're limited to 3 new moves, and I used all of them already. If I had the option, I would give it a 2-hold Crystal Nuke. It just doesn't exist. I gave Orphil the new toxic move because I nerfed Nid pretty hard here, and I wanted some sort of compensation, but I didn't want too much either. Nid's a little like way overtuned in my opinion. People say it's balanced. I strongly disagree. Here's my roller changes. I honestly didn't change much. I don't think roller's that bad, but I feel like it should be rewarded a little bit more for proccing its trait. Just basically reverting it. Here's big size munch changes. I I don't even remember how much of this I did on stream, but the whole thing that makes size munch is it clicks its signature move. What trait does size munch always run? Earthbound, because it gives +1 defense. So how about we just add the defense to his signature move, and then give it a different trait? I gave it enraged. It could have been something else. I had a couple other options, but I decided on enraged. Kind of hope it just is a little bit more interesting, and then I also I buffed self esteem because it's just such a bad trait. Also gives bait upon getting a kill, so it's at least a little bit more rewarding. I think most everything else. I don't remember if I changed anything down here. Decided on resilient for Ukama. That might have been on stream. I think I had resilient or confident. I they play in the lore for Ukama. It sounds like a very shy Tem that runs away from people. So I didn't want to give it confidence, so I decided on resilient. My full Valiar rework, yeah, yeah. Most of the stuff was just on stream, just showcasing it now. The Waspine rework, that was fun. I kind of like that. I'd love to see Waspine get those changes. Oh, the gears. Yes, the gears I did off stream. That's what I wanted to stop at too. I buff slingshot. It's seeing some use, but I think at 50% it could actually be a viable item on sometimes. Vitamin complex I buffed down to 2 turns till activation. Should help somewhat. Marbles I hate it, so I nerfed it. And this is I changed chamomile primarily because it would interact too well with some of the new moves I added. Like burnout lowers your attack after using it, but is a strong move normally. If you could swap out and in and then get those changes removed, that might be too strong. So I removed that effect. But that also means you can use camo on like a turbo team, so that's kind of nice. And then Mom's Lunch, I put the exhaust effect on Seismic for Gorong, so I had to rework the item itself. Maybe this would be too much healing, but I thought it would kind of like fit the theme of Mom's Lunch, and also be at least an option for stall still to have an item. But yeah, so that's the patch. Oh yikes, that's too big probably. But this will probably just be my end screen for now. I can maybe make another fun screen like this. I love this. It's just so goofy. But that's my be right back screen. But that's gonna be all from me today. Thank you all so much for watching. I hope you enjoy it. I hope to look. I'm looking forward to another year streaming. I hope you guys will stick with me. If anyone has any like further improvemements to the stream, feel free to let me know. You can message me on Discord or in the comments, chat, anything. I've missed a couple of comments. Mix needed broken, make 1,000 bulk and get value. Yeah, I mean, by nerfing the value it gets if it decides to run that much bulk, that's kind of my goal, removing Toxic Ink and nerfing Spores healing. The odds of Illuma Regalios from a 5-man lair. Yeah, it's 1 in 700. It's 4 times Luma odds, so 7,500 divided by 4. So I think that's right. Yeah, yeah, that's gonna be it. So thank you all so much, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.